Today's video is all about the crock pot, and I thought, why not do something different and use it to make something sweet? Maybe you don't feel like turning your oven on, or you're gonna be gone for a couple hours and want something ready when you get home. Hey y'all, I'm Valerie, and welcome to my kitchen. In today's video, I'm sharing 5 crock pot dessert recipes that we all loved, and I think you're gonna love them too. This video is extra special because it's part of a Crocktober collab hosted by Jenny over at Jenny's Scratch Made Kitchen. There will be a playlist below full of crock pot recipes, so be sure to check that out. Also, there's going to be a giveaway, but I'll tell you more about that here shortly. Okay, y'all, let's go make these crock pot desserts. This pumpkin cinnamon roll casserole did not disappoint. First, we're going to make up a little pumpkin custard mixture. I'm just doing this in a large measuring cup. You're going to add 1 cup of pure pumpkin puree, followed by 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of heavy cream, and 3 beaten eggs. Now the recipe called for 1 tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice, but I decided to do 1½ teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice and 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon. You're also going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla and then give this a really good mix. And we're going to set this aside for just a minute. I've got 2 12-ounce cans of cinnamon rolls here. I'm using the kind with the cream cheese icing, but the regular will be fine too. Now you're going to take each cinnamon roll and cut it into 4 pieces. And I'm doing it with my scissors here, but you do it however you want. And after you get all those pieces in there, you're just going to spread them out into an even layer. And make sure you save those little icing packs. We'll use them at the end. Okay, now you're going to take the pumpkin custard mixture and pour it evenly on top of those cinnamon rolls. Now we're going to cover this and set it to cook on high for 3 hours. Definitely start checking it though after about 2 hours. Mine actually took 2 hours and 45 minutes. And you'll know it's done when a knife inserted in the middle there comes out clean. And before you serve it, you can go ahead and drizzle over those icing packs that came in the cinnamon rolls. Or if you wanted to make your own homemade cream cheese icing, that would be even better, I'm sure. I just served ours with a little whipped cream on top and a little dash of cinnamon. You could drizzle over some caramel sauce, that would be really good. You could even add on some toasted pecans. Or serve it up with some ice cream. This was so good, it was delicious. It had that pumpkin-y flavor, but it wasn't overwhelming. And those cinnamon rolls, oh, they were good. Okay, chocolate chip cookie s'mores in the crock pot. I had to try it. You're going to need 1 package of the ready-to-bake cookie dough. This was a 16-ounce package. I really think you could do this with a roll of cookie dough too. It's a little more in ounces, but I don't think it would hurt anything. And I cut each of those little squares in half. Then you're going to pour over 1 bag of mini marshmallows. Make a little note here. I thought this was too many marshmallows, so next time I'll only do half a bag. Now you're going to crush over some graham crackers. I used 14 of the sheets. You don't have to crush them fine, just crush them into chunks. And next we're going to sprinkle over about 1 cup of milk chocolate chips. Now the recipe said to pour over 1 can of evaporated milk. That is way too much. The comments all said that theirs turned out soupy, so I only poured over 1/4 cup. Just enough to barely coat everything. Now you're going to toss it all around until everything is combined. Somebody had gotten into the bag of chocolate chips, so I went ahead and sprinkled over what I had left on top. And it ended up being about 1/2 cup. Now you're going to cover this, and the recipe said to cook it on low for 1½ to 2 hours, but I let mine go for 3 hours. Every crock pot is different, and maybe because there were so many marshmallows in here. Don't get me wrong now, this was absolutely delicious, but I wish it would have had a little more of the cookie dough and a little less of the marshmallows. Of course, I topped it with ice cream and some hot fudge sauce, but you don't have to. You can eat it just like it is. And the cookie dough turns out really fudgy looking. It doesn't look like it's completely done, but trust me, it is. By the way, I'll have the recipe linked below, and I'll also note the changes that I made to it, and the changes that I'll make next time. But this is for sure definitely something that I'll be making again. This vanilla caramel lava cake was my absolute favorite. So to make it in a large bowl, you're going to add in 1 French vanilla cake mix, or any kind of vanilla cake mix. You could also do chocolate here, but I had to try it with vanilla. Now you're going to mix up this cake according to the directions on the back of the box. Add your oil, your eggs, and I always add milk instead of water. Then you're going to mix it with an electric mixer until it's very well combined. Now over to your crock pot. You're going to make sure you spray it with some nonstick spray. Then you're going to pour in that vanilla cake batter. This next ingredient may surprise you. You're going to take 1 can of vanilla store-bought frosting. I did pop mine in the microwave for about 20 seconds to melt it, and then I evenly poured it on top of that cake batter. Now you're going to take about a cup of white chocolate chips and sprinkle those evenly over the top. Then you're going to cover it, and the recipe said to cook it on high for 1 to 2 hours. But I read the comments, and a lot of people said that there's burnt on the bottom, which made me really scared to cook it on high, so I did low for 2 hours. And after 2 hours on low, mine was not even close to looking done. Oh, and I did put some paper towels under that lid to catch the steam. And I let mine cook an additional hour on high. That ended up perfect, so maybe next time I'll start out with an hour and a half to 2 hours on high. So the reason I chose to do this with vanilla is because that vanilla icing, somehow on the bottom there, it turns into like a caramel sauce. And y'all, it was so good. It was delicious. But feel free to do this with a chocolate cake mix, chocolate frosting, and chocolate chips. And can y'all believe that little tiny scoop of ice cream was all that was left in the container in the freezer? And I'm not going to name names, but it was Lacey. At least I had just enough, at least I had a little bite of ice cream to go with my dessert. That's okay though, I just ordered 2 tubs of ice cream, so I am stocked up now. I really can't wait to make this and try it with all chocolate, but this vanilla caramel was absolutely delicious. I mean, look at that. And yes, it was sweet, but that's how we like it around here. I just wanted to jump in right quick and say, if you're coming over from the playlist, welcome. My name is Valerie, and I'm so glad you're here. I post lots of easy recipes, so if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. That way you get notified of all my future videos. Okay, now I'm going to tell you about the giveaway. To enter, all you have to do is leave a comment. Tell me your favorite dessert or just say hey. The winner will receive a crock pot, and Jenny's going to announce the winner on her channel on November 1st at 3 p.m. This was a Crockpot hot fudge brownie. To begin, in a large bowl, you're going to add in 1 box of brownie mix. You want to do one, or you want to use one that says it's for a 9 by 13. I think this one was like an 18.2 ounce, but anything about 18 or 19 ounces is going to work fine. And we're not going to follow the directions on the back of the box. You're going to add 2/3 cup of oil, 1/4 cup of water, and 2 beaten eggs. And you're just going to use a spoon or something to mix it until it's combined. This is not something that you have to get your electric mixer out to mix with. Set that brownie batter aside. Now in a large measuring cup, you're going to add in a 12-ounce jar of hot fudge sauce. And I did microwave mine for just a few seconds, just so I could get it out of that jar better. Oh, you're also going to add in 3/4 cup of hot water. Now stir it until it's well combined. Now we can go ahead and head over to the crock pot. You do want to make sure you spray it with nonstick spray. Then you can go ahead and pour in that brownie batter. Now the recipe said to do this in a 6-quart crock pot. Mine is an 8.5-quart crock pot. So mine did turn out a little bit on the thinner side. Now you're going to take that hot fudge and water mixture and you're going to drizzle it evenly over the top of that brownie batter. Now cover it and set it to cook on high, anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours. Every crock pot is different, so just make sure you check it a little bit earlier. And after about 2.5 hours, it looked like some of that water kind of settled over into that corner there. So I just took a spoon and kind of gently mixed everything together on top. And then I'll put the lid back on and let it go for an additional 30 minutes. So I cooked it for 3 hours altogether on high. Now this was a messy one. It was super fudgy. It was a thin layer of brownie on the bottom, which is probably because my crock pot was a little bigger. But the top of everything was like a thick layer of hot fudge sauce. And y'all, I served this right away, and you should wait. I know it's hard, but I couldn't wait, so I guess I can't say anything. Of course, you got to top it with some ice cream. And this ended up being like a 50-50 ratio of brownie versus the hot fudge pudding on top. And I wanted to show you here, after it sat for a little bit, it kind of firmed up. Or I guess kind of set up a little better. So I had to have another piece just to show you. It wasn't quite as messy after I let it sit. If you like things fudgy, definitely a 10 out of 10. This Crockpot apple cobbler is perfect for this time of year. To your slow cooker, you're going to add 2 cans of apple pie filling. Now you're going to need a box of Crusties, cinnamon swirl, crumb cake, and muffin mix. You're not going to mix this per the box directions. You're just going to take that dry mix and sprinkle it evenly over the top of those apples. And I just kind of used my fork to spread everything out. That box does come with a cinnamon sugar mixture, and you're going to sprinkle that evenly over the cake mix. And that was 1 stick of butter I placed on top of everything, sliced into pieces. And you're going to cook this on high for 2.5 to 3 hours. This turned out so good, but I knew it was going to. And that Krusteaz cinnamon swirl crumb cake mix was a game changer. You can top this with ice cream, or you don't have to. I also drizzled over some caramel sauce. Oh, and if you're a fan of chopped pecans, which I am, and I wish I would have done this, after you sprinkle that cake mix and the cinnamon swirl mixture over the apples in the crock pot, you can sprinkle over some chopped pecans. And then top it with butter and then cook it. That would be good. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe down below. Oh, and check out that playlist, and I will see you in the next one.